is Ruel's Running Podcast, a podcast about running, health, family, play, and an NSNG lifestyle. And now, here's your host, Ruel.
Excuse me as I rock on. That's Went Away by Dorothy Lane. Dorothy Lane out of Martinez, California. That's out of the Cut and Dry album. Check them out at dorothylanemusic.com. Yeah. Hello. Mic check. Is this thing on? Cool. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the podcast. It's Ruel. Yeah, apologize for all of the awful audio. Right now you're hearing the road noise. Try and make the best of it. Eventually it'll just sort of become normal. You won't notice it, hopefully. Yeah. How's everybody doing? I'm fine. Thanks for asking. Yeah. It's in the AM for me, and I'm on the road again. I have an appointment, and using this time on the road to, switch on the mic and chat. And yeah, it's been a long time and looking forward to this. So anyways, let's get on with it, shall we? If you are a return listener, welcome back. Thanks for sticking around. If you're a new listener, you're going to be confused because this is not your typical procast. You're going to be confused because you're going to be wondering, why is this guy talking about his day-to-day, his current events, and why am I not learning about how to put one foot in front of the other and run a 5K, 10K, half marathon, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I apologize, but, you can dig through past episodes to find any of that content that might float your boat. So anyway, let's see what's cooking, y'all. Yeah. Now, for the new listener, this is where I just talk a little bit about food, maybe what I've recently prepared, and gone through. So yeah, guys, I'll work my way backwards. Coffee. Coffee is the last thing that I've prepared. And I'm a longtime coffee drinker. Been drinking it since I was a kid, in elementary school. So I'm, I'm like 3'4". So if they say that, drinking coffee at a young age stunts your growth, don't listen to them. Yeah, I did coffee, and the way I've been doing coffee lately is through a Keurig machine. Yeah, I know. And I don't discriminate. I don't discriminate, how coffee, whether it comes from a French press or an espresso or drip or, I don't know, freaking pour over. Yeah, I'm not a snob about that. Sometimes I am, but yeah, I do a Keurig, and lately I've been feeling like man, I sure miss ephedrine. Right? Years ago, this is way before. This is after high school. I was just working. I wasn't attending college yet or anything, and I was into working out. And the mindset then was that I'd get supplements from the island's local supplement, muscle bodybuilder type supplement store. I'd buy like some sort of shake mix. I'd buy, what else did I get? I'd get like these thermogenic capsules. They're marketed as fat burners, right? It's got like caffeine and all these other things that I can't pronounce as key active ingredients. I'm like, cool, I'm gonna use this to melt away my fat and stuff, right? And work out. I'm gonna get ripped. I think ripped was in the name of the product. I'm gonna get ripped. Back then the internet was not like it is today, and I'd often find myself at a grocery store magazine display looking for workout and fitness magazines just to get inspired, find new routines and find out what are the latest and greatest hot supplements to take to become ripped. So anyways, back then there was the supplements contained ephedrine, and ephedrine after a while got a bad rap because people who had, say, like heart conditions and stuff, and who were doing workouts and also getting dehydrated, who happened to be on the supplement containing ephedrine would die, right? Unfortunately, So it all pointed to ephedrine, and eventually all that it got pulled off of the shelves from these types of products. And I guess ephedrine is just like a form of speed, right? And yeah, so I was on it for working out at that time after high school, just working before college and stuff, and I was having great success. I mean, I wasn't like ripped like the guys in the magazine because I didn't have the level of muscle mass, lean muscle mass, but I did drop weight. I was really active, so I was like really active. I was highly caffeinated, and the supplements I was taking contained ephedrine, so I was basically like like a dude methed out, basically, except I wasn't tweaking and I wasn't out of control. I was like healthy. I was energetic, and I was going to work, and I was being responsible, and I was in a relationship. I was with my wife, my girlfriend at the time, and I mean, as a matter of fact, I was house sitting for I want to say he's a friend for sure. Was a friend. He's no longer around, or passed away, because he was much older, and he was respected in sort of like an elder, if you will, who used to pastor the church that we were attending at the time. But we met through a mutual friend, and we just were doing Bible studies and stuff at his house. And at some point in time, I was asked to house sit, and so I was house sitting for an extended period of time, and I was working out at the home, taking my supplements, doing like martial arts training and some weight training and some aerobic training. I was doing everything. But yeah, I leaned out really well. And, when friends would come over to visit, who were attending the university nearby, they would look at me like, holy cow, what are you on? Are you on meth? Are you on ice, or whatever you want to call it? I'm like, no. I took offense. I was like, how dare you? You know how much time and effort I put into working out, and so that I'm not a fat slob, whatever, So, and that was the God's honest truth. But it wasn't until later on, years later, because I wasn't paying attention. Again, there was no internet, so that I learned like, ephedrine was essentially speed, was essentially like meth, right? So I was like, oh, okay, I guess I was. Darn, I sure miss ephedrine, because, I love that being shot out of a can. And so why am I saying this in the What's Cooking segment? Well, so I have coffee, right? And for a while I was thinking like, you know what? Yeah, I'm having my coffee and it's getting me up in the morning to at least function, where I could, make the kids breakfast and prepare lunches, pack lunches and stuff, and get out the door to help get them to their bus stops and to school and stuff. So it's cool. But it got to a point where like I do that, then once all the kids were in school, I'd get home, I'm still working from home. Excuse me, coffee burp. And I would sit in my home office, right? I'd sit in my home office and I would have just like lost steam. I would have like, it would take a while for me to sort of, to get focus, So then that raised questions for things like, oh my God, maybe I've got like attention deficit and all this stuff, right? And I just struggled because, I wasn't inspired to get going, And I found that if I took a short drive, just went out, after all the kids were where they needed to be. And then, say I did that, and then, just those few minutes was enough time for my brain to sort of go places and stir up my emotions enough to feel inspired about wanting to do stuff, anything. So, okay, that's interesting. So what would I do? I was like, oh, maybe I'll go out and, instead of making coffee at home, I'll make coffee elsewhere, or I'll get coffee elsewhere. And one of the things that I like to do is order a coffee with an add shot of espresso to it. And I'm like, oh, cool. This doesn't, shoot me out of a cannon like like ephedrine or whatever. But, it does sort of pick me up a little bit, right? So did that for a while, then realized, oh God, this is getting expensive. I do this long enough, I might as well have owned my own espresso machine. So long story short, I do the Keurig, and for my birthday, my wife got me. I picked it out, but she ordered it, paid for it, an espresso, a home espresso maker. Nothing. It's not like a Ferrari. It's nothing super fancy. 1 second, guys. I'm having to park, and I don't want to like crash into anything. Yeah, it's not a fancy espresso machine, but it's an espresso machine, and it gets me doing the activity, the whole flow of what it takes to prepare an espresso machine. You get the portafilter, and you get you grind the beans to espresso fine level, and it's just a nice activity. So I'll make myself a double espresso and dump that in my Keurig coffee. And I'll have one of those in the day, and I'm good. So that's a long what's cooking segment. I haven't gotten into like solid foods, but let me pause here and pick right back up. 1 second.
Do you need a website? If you're an individual, a consultant, a group, or small business and need a site, or maybe you have an existing site, I can help. How about graphic design? Do you need a design for a t-shirt, logo, product, business cards? Maybe you need help with designing and developing a brand. I'm not an expert, but I do have the tools and the techniques to get the job done. How about a podcast? Yep, like this thing. This thing's a silly little show. Are you looking to set up a podcast of your own? Are you looking to reach an audience? Promote your business via podcast? Well, Abadam Studios. That's right, Abadam Studios. Yeah, so that's Abadam Studios. AbadamStudios.com, AbadamStudios.com. Check it out.
I'm back. So, kind of like the last thing I want to say on this whole what's cooking segment. I mentioned making breakfast and stuff for the kids in the morning. So, I had a really rough morning. I get up and, I make my coffee, and I just kind of crash out on the sofa, and I wait for that audible of the Keurig being done. It kind of does this kind of like this gargle. I don't know. This what the heck is it called when when you're drinking a drink from a straw and you get to the very bottom of the cup, and then you're kind of sucking what little left of moisture is at the bottom of the cup. Kind of sounds like that in a way. So then once I hear that sound, I'll get up and I'll get the coffee, then I'll plop right back down on the couch and have a few sips and just try to wake up. Try to wake up more and do that. Then, like today, right? I had to do a few things. One was get 2 slices of Spam on the hot cast iron pan, because I'm making my oldest a couple of Spam musubis. If you don't know what that is, it's basically a couple of bricks of steamed white rice packed into a brick. You lay a fried Spam on it and then wrap it with nori or a seaweed wrapper, like a sushi wrapper. The most basic, it's not, the rice isn't seasoned with anything, the Spam isn't seasoned with anything, and neither is the seaweed wrap. It's just those 3 components. And then they end up individually getting wrapped with plastic wrap. So it's nice, a compact food to get my kid through the lunch period. And he ordinarily would have gotten something else on this day, but he's got this video gaming activity in school where he wants to be able to like pack stuff and grab and go and attend the event, or he doesn't want to deal with like lunch paraphernalia. I don't know what you call it. A thermos or a plastic container and utensils. So just these Spam musubis are really compact and easy to deal with. So I gotta throw a couple slices of Spam on the hot pan, and then I have more time to sort of just chill while that sort of does its thing. But then that's for a lunch, My wife is fortunately doing lunch for the other 2 kids, so I don't have to worry about what they're getting. But I do have to worry about getting breakfast done. So, to speed things up at home, and I make tons of bacon. But to speed that process even more, over at Costco, you can buy the fully cooked bacon. And, so we have that at home now, and I'll just put a couple slices in the microwave for about a minute and done, right? Whereas if I bought like the uncooked bacon, I would spend significantly more time in the morning trying to get that done. But I wanted to make, what I typically make is these bacon and cheese sandwiches, these mini sandwiches for the boys. So I get a microwave, like a ceramic dish, right? It's this rectangular dish, and I put a couple strips of bacon on it. And I'm thinking, yeah, I'll do this, because in the past I've just, created a lot of waste. I'd get a paper plate and I'll put the bacon on it and I'll cover it with a paper towel and I'll microwave the thing, but I kind of, every now and then I feel like, God, I'm just, just wasting paper plates, right? And it's not a big deal, right? Just, you have to decide, do I want to wash the dish or do I want to throw something in the garbage? So today, I'll skip the paper plate and I'll use a ceramic dish. Microwave safe as far as I know. Put a couple strips of bacon on it, the fully cooked bacon, cover it with paper towel, stick it in the microwave for a minute. I do that, and then the thing completes, and I look at it, it's like, it can stand to use another 30 seconds. Unlike with the paper plate, I can get it done in a minute, but because the dish was different, the plate was different, that probably impacted thing. So I hit it another 30 seconds. That gets done. And this is where I run into problems, right? I'm not fully awake. And I go in and I reach for, it's a small rectangular dish. I reach for it with my right hand, kind of like in a fashion. If you've ever played cards, and if you've ever been asked to cut a deck of cards, you kind of you hover your hand over the deck of cards, and you have your thumb on one side of the deck, and then your other fingers on the other side, and you sort of pick it up, kind of like your hand is a crane or something, right? Or like looks like a mouse, like a little Loch Ness monster picking up stuff, right? So I do the thing with one hand. I pick up the dish like I'm picking up a deck of cards. I quickly pick it up, and instantaneously, I can feel it like burning hot, right? But I'm at a point where I'm between the microwave and the kitchen counter, and it doesn't matter which way I go. I have a distance to go. Yes, it's I don't know, maybe like 1.5 feet, right, from because they have an island in the kitchen. It's a small kitchen, but so I realize like my brain goes, shit, it's hot, right? But I'm also thinking, don't drop it. So despite it being freaking hot, I hold on even tighter with my grip of this hot platter or this dish, and then I safely get it onto the counter. I don't throw it on the counter, I kind of, I can't say muscle through. I sort of like just dealt with it. Yeah, and it was rough because it was hot and I hurt my thumb, pretty badly. It still hurts. So then at the same time, I'm like, man, that woke me up. And so I have a burned thumb, and I'm still trying to get the spam musubi made, and I gotta throw these King's Hawaiian sweet rolls in the toaster oven with a slice of with pieces of provolone cheese on them to melt them on the bread as they toast, so I can make these bacon and cheese mini sandwiches for the kids, for the boys. So I get the musubis done, I get the breakfast sandwiches done, and that's what I have that's cooking. That had cooked. And that's all I'm gonna say. No, you know what else I want to say? And I could save it, but I'm not, because who knows when the next episode is gonna come out, so I'm just gonna say it here. When you get a good, for like folks with families, right? Yeah, it's super helpful. We got these boneless beef short ribs from Costco, right? Yeah, they're a little pricey. For some reason, beef short ribs are pricey these days. And so you take them and you put them in a vacuum seal bag, and you put whatever your favorite marinade is. We use this thing called Yoshida's teriyaki, and so this has nothing to do with NSNG. It's just looking to marinate some meat because you want to feed your family. Then we do that. We just put enough of the marinade in the bag with the meat to cover the meat, Then you vacuum seal it, and then after you vacuum seal it, you put it in the fridge. Put it in the fridge for a couple of days, and then if you're not going to use it, you stick it in the freezer. And that's what we did. We did a bunch of those, and then last night or yesterday before dinner, I just took one of those frozen packets out, stuffed it in opened up the bag and put the contents in an Instant Pot, and pressure cooked it for 55 minutes. I added a little bit of water but in about an hour, it was all done and good, and the meat was tender. It was flavorful, as far as the flavor of the marinade, because that thing had been marinating for at least a couple of days, in a vacuum sealed bag. And for our family, that's an instant, island rice plate. Get a side of steamed rice and get some of that beef short rib off to the side, and then if you want to add another side, you can just add some steamed broccoli off to the side, and you're good to go. So yeah, that's what was cooking. As a matter of fact, took that same dish, the rice, the beef, and the broccoli, put it in a to-go box. They look like little bento boxes that you can buy these boxes at Target or Walmart. The little plastic boxes with a cover with little like different sections for things. We made a bunch of those and took them on a rafting trip recently, in a cooler bag. So we were basically, it wasn't a rough river rafting trip. It was kind of like just kind of coast and go easy and try not to crash into anything, and basically picnicked in a raft on the American River here in Northern California. Anyways, that's what's cooking. All right. Yeah, so enough of that. Let's talk about running, which I've not done a whole bunch of lately. And, it's interesting. I finally got around to reviewing, recordings that I've created, but not published from early this year in 2023 and 2022 and 2021. So, being able to spend the time to look to review what I had and look at the dates of them, really was really like interesting,
Go past this light. Then at the next one, turn left.
Okay, let me deal with that. Let me pause that sucker. Too noisy. Jeez. No. Had to pause the recording and lost my train of thought. I might need another espresso. But yeah, I thought it was interesting after spending time reviewing, because it not only showed me how sparse the recordings were throughout the years, but it also, I did manage to talk about my last big run in one of those recordings. So that was in November of 2022, and so as I've had to think about my running this year, one of the things that I still want to do is cover the 50-mile distance, but I'm in no condition to do an event. And if by the time this recording comes out, I expect to have released the episode regarding that past November run. It was the Berkeley Trail Adventure. It was, I believe, it was 35K. I kind of go into how I wasn't fit for that event or for that run, but I did it anyways, just to get myself out there. And it was, it was painful. It was painful, but I finished it. It was painful, and I want to prevent that the next time I do something like that. I mean, I'm contemplating doing it again, the 35K, because the 50K distance and on that particular course just, didn't work for me. From getting lost to not meeting cutoff, it's like, I want to finish, right? And doing the shorter course gets me home sooner. I'm not spending most of the day out. So anyways, I'm not doing a whole lot of running lately, but I've been trying to get a level of exercise in. And what does that look like? Well, these days, as I work from home, I'm typically working in the garage. I have a makeshift desk, which I set up and tear down every day so that I can park the vehicle in it at the end of the day. And while in the garage, I have also set up a TV, with access to YouTube. So I'm watching, off to the side, I've got like martial arts and boxing and videos going, and watching it is inspiring, right? So, and while in the garage, I have this 100-pound heavy bag that I set up. And if I'm watching a boxing video and then it's an instructional video where it covers like how do you do certain footwork, how do you transition from to certain techniques to another, how do you flow, then that I might get inspired and you'd be curious to try it out. So I can just stand up, shift off to the side, and I'm right there next to the heavy bag. So also, when I feel like I need to shift motivation, like I need a break, then it's sort of an active break where I can just work on the heavy bag for a minute or two, change my mindset, and then be able to kind of get back into things. So I've been doing that, and I've also been watching workout videos specific to boxing and Muay Thai, kickboxing. So, and it's stuff that I've used to train for years ago, and I kind of get inspired. So, at the end of the day, with everything set up, I'll probably go into a workout and I'll do body weight exercises. I'll hit the jump rope. I'll do all that stuff. So, trying to do some of this activity to strengthen my body, because I sure need it. Definitely need to work on just my overall strength. So, but, I'm not forgetting about running, because actually in a few days I'm expecting a delivery for a treadmill. It's a folding treadmill, so you can use it under desk on by a standing desk, or you can set it up to do some running. So yeah, I pulled the trigger and ordered a treadmill, and it's actually, I have a stipend for things like home office and fitness equipment for my day job, so I submitted reimbursement for the cost of the treadmill, and so it's kind of cool. Get a treadmill in a few days, and it's something that both my wife and I can stand to benefit from. She's often talked about wanting to be able to just do the walking, and in a few months it's just she's probably gonna really cherish time on a treadmill because it's not gonna be ideal to be outdoors. Maybe it's too dark, or the conditions are just, the weather's not right for her, so she can do that at the comfort of her own home. And for me, I'll get to do a level of mileage on it, nothing extreme as far as intensity, but because it's not one of those pro treadmills that you find at those big box gyms, so it'll be interesting to see how it performs and handles, because even though I'm not going to be doing sprints and stuff on it, I'm likely going to run a lot of miles over it. So with that, I did buy a sort of this warranty thing on it. So if I end up trashing it sooner than later, or sooner than it should, I expect it to stay functional. I might be able to do something with that. So yeah, pretty excited for that. And for the past couple of years, or 3 years, there's been this virtual run event where I think it's like in January. I think it's a virtual run where you cover 267 miles in the month, and I've always failed at it. The first year I participated, I got minimal miles in, but it did stretch me because my schedule was still pretty hectic, so trying to find time at the end of the day to put on a couple of hours of running, was tough. And then if I missed days, then I was at a deficit, and then I'd be in a situation where I'd have to make up miles, which can't really make up, right? In an ideal situation for that event, it would have been I had long runs on the weekend, which I never did, or I had a race or an event that I did which put in longer miles, but I didn't. So it did wreck me, despite not meeting the goal, because I was still pushing myself, doing back-to-back days and whatnot. And then the following 2 years, I just signed up and ended up basically not participating. It's just, so I was like, darn, but you know, in those previous years, I always thought, like, man, if I only had a treadmill, right, I'd be covering these miles easily every day. So that's, I'm hopeful for that. You know, I can schedule time between my wife's need for the treadmill and mine, and start taking on the miles. And I know that once I can get miles on my feet and be able to develop that fitness of being back on my feet for long periods of time, you know, then I can say, okay, cool, I'm going to do a next big run, you know, and maybe I'll be able to say, yep, I'm ready, I'm good to go to block out some time and take on that 50-mile distance. You know, it's something I want to do. So yeah, that's that. That is that. Ugh. So I should just leave it. I should just leave it there. Thanks everybody for sticking around. And I kind of was shot out of a cannon there, wasn't I? I just really excited to get back into swing of things. So yeah, I'll catch you guys on the next one. How did it go? Can somebody remind me? Hug your friends, hug your family, eat something delicious, and go run something. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Ruel's Running Podcast with Ruel. If you like what you just heard, share it with your friends and your enemies. Also, be sure to check out the site over at ruelsrunning.com. This has been another Coffee with Heavy Cream production. Join us next time for another silly show of Ruel's Running Podcast.